Hello everyone, and welcome back to another DIY gift idea video. In this video I'm going to be showing you 3 DIY gift ideas, each with a fairy or cottagecore or woodland theme. For this craft I started with 2 pieces of fabric, both around 8 by 10 inches with a seam allowance going all the way around. Marking where I wanted the fold of the case to be, I sewed a basting stitch on both fabrics. This will work as a guide whilst embroidering and sewing on the pockets. I drew an outline for my embroidery on what will be the front of the case, and, well, embroidered it. For the design, I just copied out a picture that I saw online, but added some more flowers to make it look a bit more summery. After 2 days of embroidering, I realised that I was sewing on the wrong side of the fabric. So now it doesn't open, it opens in the opposite direction, which isn't too important, but I think next time I'm definitely going to have to pay attention to what side of the fabric I'm actually sewing on. Next I measured out the size I wanted my pockets to be, so I ended up making them about 5 by 10 inches, remembering to add a seam allowance all the way around. I folded and pinned the top of the pocket to hide the raw edge, and then pinned lace going all the way along the top just to look a bit more decorative. I did try to machine sew the lace onto the pocket, but because the lace was a bit stretchy, it didn't work out very well, so I just ended up hand sewing it. Then I sewed the pocket to the lining fabric, making sure that the good side of both fabrics were facing up. I machine sewed a few storage channels and also hand sewed a little extra pocket. Then I pinned the 2 fabrics together, good side to good side, encasing a piece of string in between the 2 fabrics near the front edge. This will be used as the closure later on. Then I just sewed along the edge, making sure to leave a gap so that I may turn the case inside out. Once turned inside out, I folded the edge of the gap inward and then sewed as close to the edge as I could all the way around the case. Finally, all that's left to do is to sew a piece of string to the back of the pencil case, remove the basting stitches, and it's finished. For this next project, I just used a plastic bowl, some jute string, some PVA glue, otherwise known as school glue or Mod Podge, and a paintbrush. And I just simply glued and wrapped the string around the plastic bowl. This could be a bit fiddly, especially at the beginning and the end, so I just took my time and made sure to use plenty of glue. When I got to the end, the tail of the string wouldn't stick down very well, so I just used some super glue and held it down for a little while, just to make sure it stayed in place. Then I just covered the bowl with a layer of PVA glue. So when that was dry, I simply just removed the string bowl from the plastic bowl, and then I covered the inside with a layer of PVA glue, once again just to make sure everything stayed in place. And whilst I waited for that to dry, I went foraging for some foliage to decorate it. When I got home, I washed the leaves and the flowers to get rid of any germs, and then I left them in the window for a day or two to fully dry. I also sprinkled a bit of baking powder over the leaves to make them dry faster. Some dry glue was hanging around the edge of the bowl, so I just made sure to cut that off, and then when the foliage was fully dried, I glued them around the bowl. And finally, when that was dry, I went over everything with another layer of PVA glue, just to make sure everything stayed in place and to preserve the flowers and the leaves. And for the last project, all that's required is a frame and some of the leftover foliage. Because the photo frame I used was a bit too smooth, I used sandpaper to roughen it up a bit so that the foliage would actually have something to stick to. Then I just proceeded to glue the flowers and leaves to the frame. And once again I covered everything in a layer of PVA glue to keep everything preserved and in place. And that's it. That's the gift done. And that's all for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I hope you found some of these gift ideas useful. And I'll see you next time. Bye!